Please, you see this. I'm very happy to be with you again. Huh? Yesterday we had a very good session. You were missing. You know, we missed you, and you missed kobas. Very delicious kobas. Tell them I'm here.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. لقد حضر حضرة أمير المؤمنين إلى هذا البرنامج، ولقد تكلم مع الأخ عبادة وقال له أن في يوم البارحة لقد عقدت جلسة مع الأخوة العرب والسوريين كما ذكرنا لكم قبل، وقال أنك لم تحضر ذلك اللقاء، وقد فاتك اللقاء وفاتتك الكبة أيضا، وهذه أكلة يعرفها الكثير من العرب.
Okay, shall we start, please? You have covered whatever was said by me yesterday? Please?
I have a question. Why the man, I mean human being, difference between faith and behavior in the normal life? I mean, if the man say, you know, that if he's liar, that's haram, but he insisted to do this and say to himself, I must do that because the situation give me that to say this, that's liars. So why the man?
See, this is a very easy question to answer. In fact, when one's faith is true, he never behaves differently. When the faith is false or weak, then whenever the clash occurs between faith and action, action wins and the faith is defeated. Hazrat Masih Maud has made it clear with the help of many examples. If you know that there is a snake, deadly snake, you will not poke your finger into the hole where the snake is. This is a sign of truth of faith, and the action will never negate the requirements of faith. If you know there is something to be had, some good and some treasure is to be gained, you will go there, you will not run away from it. So the opposite happens in the case of people who say we believe that sin is bad, we believe that we will lose God, but they sin, which means the importance of God is just imaginary. The reality of sin is more important. And similarly, when they say we know Wahi is good, is from God, the Holy Quran is most wonderful, is the best book in the world, we are ready to offer our lives for the sake of it. But when the Quran is recited, they're not interested. When music is played, they go for it, you know. They spend the whole night listening to music. There is one famous singer in Egypt, Kulthum. You see? There are Egyptians particularly and other Arabs as well, who spend the whole night listening to Kulthum. But tell them there is a Qari who will recite the Quran whole night. What do you mean by that? Leave him alone, you know. So, action is true. Faith is falsified by the action. If the faith tallies with the action, only then faith is true, not otherwise. This is going to create hell for people in the hereafter, because there will be no music. I haven't read any music in the Holy Quran to be offered to the people who die. So there is only good thing, qalun salaman salama. And that means all the best things will be offered which offer peace. And people who are not used to this, they'll feel very uneasy. They'll miss their music very much there. And when you miss something of which you're addicted, this is hell. You see, those people who are addicted to opium or other drugs, you remove them and they feel like dying. Sometimes they commit suicide. Sometimes they murder for the sake of getting a few pills of the opiate they are used to. So this will be their hell in the future, but they will have no way to escape it. They can't commit suicide there, they can't kill anybody, and they have to face it. So this is one small example of how one's faith is tested at the touchstone of one's actions. Action is the true thing. When it gives light to the faith is just hollow and meaningless. But the same action will become punishable after death. So that is why it is al-amal, always al-amal which are punished. In the Holy Quran, you always read it is al-amal which are being punished. See? Got it? Please. Translation.
لقد ذكر حضرة أمير المؤمنين وقال إذا كان الإيمان حقيقيا فالعمل لا يناقض ذلك الإيمان، ولكن الإيمان الضعيف دائما العمل الخطأ دائما يعارض ويناقض الإيمان الحقيقي، فهذا يدل على الإيمان الضعيف لذلك الإنسان. والمسيح الموعود عليه الصلاة والسلام شرح ذلك في أماكن عديدة، وأعطى مثالا على ذلك: إذا عرف الإنسان وأيقن على أن هنالك ثعبان قاتل وخطير جدا في جحر معين، فإن ذلك الإنسان لن يضع يده في ذلك الجحر لإيمانه الحقيقي الصادق في وجود ذلك الثعبان، فهذا إيمان حقيقي، والعمل لن يناقض ذلك الإيمان وأن يقوم ذلك الإنسان بوضع يده في ذلك الجحر. وإما لو عرف أن هنالك كنزا قد يستطيع أن يأخذه وينتفع منه، فيذهب ذلك الإنسان إلى ذلك المكان وللحصول على ذلك الكنز، وذلك من جراء الإيمان الحقيقي في أن هنالك فائدة من ذلك الكنز. ويقول حضرة أمير المؤمنين كذلك بالنسبة للإيمان في وجود الله سبحانه وتعالى: فإذا قال الإنسان أنا أؤمن بالله وأحب الله سبحانه وتعالى ويعمل ما يخالف ذلك وما يأمر به الله سبحانه وتعالى، فذلك الإيمان هذا إيمان ضعيف، وأهمية الله سبحانه وتعالى هي خيالية لدى ذلك الإنسان. وقال حضرته وأعطى مثالا: القرآن بالنسبة لبعض الناس يقولون أن القرآن هو كتاب عظيم أنزل على الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم من قبل الله سبحانه وتعالى، ولكن إذا يتلى القرآن عليهم فإنهم لا يصغون إليه ويبتعدون عن المكان الذي يتلى فيه القرآن، ولكن إذا عزفت الموسيقى وبدأ بعض الناس بالغناء فإنهم يستمعون إلى تلك الموسيقى إلى أوقات وساعات طويلة. وقد ذكر حضرته أيضا المطربة المصرية أم كلثوم في بعض العرب خاصة في مصر وبعض الدول العربية الأخرى أيضا يقومون بالاستماع إلى أغاني هذه السيدة إلى ساعات طويلة في الليل، ولكن إذا ذهبت إلى أحد هؤلاء الناس وقلت أن هنالك قارئ يتلو القرآن الكريم فيقولوا: دعه وحده فنحن نستمتع بهذه الموسيقى ودعه يقرأ القرآن. فهذا ليس الإيمان الحقيقي والصادق، وإنما هذا إيمان ضعيف لدى هؤلاء الناس فيما يقومون به. فيقول حضرة أمير المؤمنين إن هذا ستكون لهم جهنم في الآخرة، لأن هؤلاء الناس يفتقدون الموسيقى التي كانوا يستمعون إليها في هذه الدنيا. فإنني لم أقرأ ولم أسمع ولم أجد في أي مكان على أن الموسيقى سوف تكون موجودة في الآخرة، وإنما فقط كما ذكر حضرته سلاما فقط أفضل الأشياء التي تمنح السلام والسلم لهؤلاء الناس، وأن الناس الذين كانوا يستمعون إلى هذه الموسيقى سيفتقدونها كثيرا. وقال حضرته أيضا بالنسبة للمدمنين على المخدرات، عندما يفتقدون هذه المخدرات فيجنون ويبحثون في كل الأمكنة والطرق والوسائل في الحصول على بعض من هذه المخدرات، وبعضهم يقوم بالانتحار بطرق شتى. ولكن يقول حضرته في الآخرة فإن هؤلاء الناس لا يستطيعون الهروب من هذه المعاناة، فإنهم سيعانون منها إلى أن يشاء الله سبحانه وتعالى في رفعها عنهم. فيقول حضرة أمير المؤمنين إن عن طريق العمل يفحص ويعرف قوة إيمان ذلك الشخص، إيمانه الحقيقي أو إيمانه الضعيف بالله سبحانه وتعالى. فعن طريق العمل كما ذكرت أن هو الشيء الحقيقي. إذا عارض العمل الإيمان فهذا هو الخطأ ويدل على الإيمان الضعيف.
When I presented the example of music, I don't mean this is sufficient to put people to hell. It was just an example. I don't mean that anybody who listens to music will go to hell. What I mean to say is you must prepare good tastes here. The tastes which are godly, where you begin to obtain pleasure from goodness. This is the real message. If you begin to love goodness here, then because it will be goodness there, and it will be brought very close to you. So that will be the heaven you create yourself. So if you love evil things, then because there can be no evil thing in heaven, so you will naturally go to hell which you like. But there you will not like it because the real nature of the evil will be manifested. So don't misunderstand me when I say, give the example of music. I don't mean that anybody who listens to music is going to be dispatched straight to hell. It's an example of our likings and dislikes. If we live in an atmosphere which we love and we miss that suddenly, that becomes a sort of hell for us.
لقد قال حضرة أمير المؤمنين إن المثال بالنسبة للموسيقى كان مثالا فقط، وأنه ليس تأكيدا على أن أو لا أقول أن من يستمع إلى الموسيقى سيذهب إلى جهنم، وإنما كان ذلك مثالا على سبيل المثال. وقال حضرته يجب في هذه الدنيا يجب أن نهيئ ونحضر أذواقا خاصة بنا، أذواقا إلهية، لكي تحضرنا وتساعدنا في الاكتساب من الخير الموجود في الآخرة. فإذا وجد وتعودنا على الخير والاكتساب والانتفاع من الخير على هذه الأرض، فسنجد الخير ذلك في الدنيا في الآخرة أيضا، وسننتفع من ذلك الخير كما انتفعنا منه على هذه الأرض. ولكن إذا طور أحد الأذواق الشيطانية والأشياء الشيطانية وكان محبا لها على هذه الأرض، فسوف يفتقدها في الآخرة ولن يجدها أبدا، وستكون له جهنم هنالك بالنسبة له لعدم وجود هذه الأشياء التي كان يرغبها على هذه الأرض.
I have a question about the Quranic verse لن تنالوا البر حتى تنفقوا مما تحبون. I'm asking about the very pious people. They are in any way they don't like the worldly things. So when they spend this for the sake of God, they spend from something that is not dear to them anyway. So is this counted birr as well?
You see, you're talking of a pious person who is extremely pious. The Holy Quran speaks of all people in the world. They are at different stages, but first the question has to be translated first.
لقد سألت الأخت مها بالنسبة للآية التي تقول بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لن تنالوا البر حتى تنفقوا مما تحبون. وقالت الأخت مها بأن بعض الناس الأتقياء إذا كانوا قريبين من الله سبحانه وتعالى فإن هذه الأمور المادية لا تعنيهم أبدا، فكيف ينفقون من الأشياء المادية فإنها ليست مما يحبونه ويفتقرون إليه.
This verse should be understood in relation to all the possible situations which are covered by this verse. First of all, لَن تَنَالُوا الْبِرَّ حَتَّى تُنْفِقُوا مِمَّا تُحِبُّونَ means that if you spend in the cause of Allah food which you don't like anymore, which is about to rot anyway, clothes which are worn out, and the shoes which are giving at the seams, giving out at the seams, they are being torn to pieces, and you say, in the name of Allah, I give it to that poor man, and in the name of Allah. This is against the purpose of the very message of this verse. لَن تَنَالُوا الْبِرَّ حَتَّى تُنْفِقُوا مِمَّا تُحِبُّونَ. And that is explained further in the Holy Quran, which says that don't spend in the cause of Allah, which if given to you, you cannot accept except with downcast eyes, with shame. So, that explains the same thing. If you spend in the cause of Allah something, and you say you have done something big, and when somebody gives it to you, how would you feel? If you feel ashamed, if you feel reduced, then this is not that which you love. So the Holy Quran is such a perfect book, It takes the subject from this direction to that, and from that direction to this, and makes the subject very clear. That is one meaning of the verse, لَن تَنَالُوا الْبِرَّ حَتَّى تُنْفِقُوا مِمَّا تُحِبُّونَ. After his translation, then I'll turn to the other one.
قال حضرة أمير المؤمنين.
This verse I had in mind. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا أنفقوا من طيبات ما كسبتم ومما أخرجنا لكم من الأرض ولا تيمموا الخبيث منه تنفقون ولستم بآخذيه إلا أن تغمضوا فيه. Don't spend those things which, when are given to you, you cast your eyes down. That is with shame. You are belittled. You think you are a small person. Treat others with honor. Give them things which they take with heads held high. And this is the birr, not the waste which you throw out in the name of God.
قال حضرته يجب أن تفهم هذه الآية بالنسبة للأحوال والمسائل التي تغطيها هذه الآية. فأولا تعني هذه الآية أن إذا تنفق في سبيل الله سبحانه وتعالى لا تنفق بطعام يكاد يتلف، أو ملابس بالية جدا، أو أحذية غير مرغوبة لديك، فهذا خلاف ما جاء في هذه الآية. وقد تلا حضرته أيضا آية أخرى في أن إذا تنفق في سبيل الله سبحانه وتعالى يجب أن تنفقوا بالأشياء الجيدة والتي لا تشعرون بإذلال وانحطاط إذا قدمت لكم هذه الأشياء من قبل واحد آخر. فهذا هو الأمر الذي جاء في هذه الآية، وذلك هو البر الصادق التي سوف تنالونه من إعطائكم وإنفاقكم في سبيل الله في الأمور الجيدة التي إذا أعطيت لكم أنتم أنفسكم ترفعون رؤوسكم وتفتخرون بذلك.
See, in our language Urdu, some wise man has created a sort of story, but the story is a very real thing which applies to their life. It is based on Hazrat Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's hadith. I don't know whether it follows the hadith exactly, but the story which I remember, I can tell you. It's based on hadith, there is no doubt about it. It says that some people went to God in the hereafter, and he took them to his Jannah. And they were extremely interested in seeing the Jannah created by God. So they said, "O our Lord, would you show us the Jannah which you have made?" He said, "Yes, come on with me." And he will take them to big warehouses where there will be rotten shoes and torn pieces of clothes, filthy, and food which was stinking. There were worms in the food, and all the worst possible things were there. So he will be amazed. He said, "I wanted to see your Jannah. Is this your Jannah, O Lord?" He said, "Yes, this is my Jannah, but which you created for me. Because when I was poor, I came to you and I wanted clothes, and you gave me all the rotten things which were smelling badly as well, and gave them quietly and said, 'This is in the name of Allah.' You gave them to me. When I was hungry, I appeared before you begging for food, and you brought the worst in the house, which was of no use to you. So you gave me rotten shoes, rotten clothes, rotten this, rotten that, and this is the Jannah you created for me. But the Jannah I created for you was different. You never returned it to me." So this is the meaning God will tell him. He will be amazed, according to the hadith, that how could God be so poor? How could God be so hungry? How could he be thirsty? How could he be without shelter? How could he be without clothes? So he said, this is the meaning of that. When my poor people came to you begging for food, how you treated them, you treated God. Now this story which is told by people in our language is built around a hadith. It is very profound. It's so full of wisdom and so full of other messages as well. It shows that God cares for his servants. So much so that when somebody is hungry, God says, "As if I am hungry." When somebody is needy, as if God is needy. When somebody is without clothes, as if God is without clothes. Now the point is, this is a very important point to be raised here. If this is so, why did not God provide them with food himself? Why did he not provide them with shelter and clothes himself? He could do it. If he had done it, then the scheme of things which is applicable to humans will be destroyed. There will be no trial left. So it is essential to try us with hunger and with comfort, with pain and with comfort, with hunger and with appeasement of appetite and so on. So that is why the Holy Quran presents this scheme, which is full of misery as well as comfort, so that he can judge his people who are inclined to him and who are not inclined to him. This is the wisdom of this scheme. But this means all the time Allah feels for us. This is not what he loves. When somebody suffers, Allah doesn't enjoy that. But he has provided a means for the for the cure of the suffering, for the treatment for those who are ill, for feeding the people who are hungry, by way of admonishment in the Quran and in other religions. When the Holy Quran begins with this, وَمِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ يُنْفِقُونَ. If people follow this, where would be hunger left? Where would be people who are without clothes? Because when we know our brothers are suffering, we spend from whatever we get. So the meaning of this hadith can be understood only in totality of the philosophy of creation. You understand? So when Allah says, I was hungry, it means God does care for His people. And that is why He punishes them who were cruel. If God had not cared for them, why should He punish? So this is how we should understand God, and this is how we should serve the cause of humanity as if we are serving the cause of Allah. This is the ultimate message. Please.
لقد ذكر حضرة أمير المؤمنين رواية عن حكيم في تروى هذه الحكاية في منطقة الهند والباكستان كما ذكر حضرته، وقال أن هذه الحكاية مبنية تماما على حديث للرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم، وقال حضرته أن لا أعرف إذا تنطبق تماما على هذا الحديث، ولكن لا شك أنها مبنية على حديث للرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم. وجاء فيها أن بعض الناس ذهبوا إلى الله سبحانه وتعالى في الآخرة، فكانوا يريدون رؤية جنة الله سبحانه وتعالى التي خلقها وجعلها لهم، فأخذهم إلى بيوت مليئة كبيرة جدا مملوءة بالأحذية الأحذية والملابس البالية والأطعمة المتعفنة وأسوأ الأشياء التي يرغبها الإنسان. وقالوا له: ربنا، هذا أردنا أن نرى جنتك، فهل هذه الجنة التي خلقتها وجعلتها لنا؟ فقال لهم الله تعالى: نعم، هذه هي الجنة التي قدمتموها لي، فعندما كنت أنا فقيرا عندما جئت إليكم أردت سائلا الملابس، هذه الملابس التي قدمتوها إلي، وعندما كنت جائعا هذه هي الأطعمة ومستوى وجودة الطعام التي قدمتوها إلي، وكذلك عندما سألت الأحذية أعطيتم أسوأ الأحذية إلي، فهذه هي الجنة التي قدمتموها لي، فكيف سأقدم لكم؟ فهذه هي الجنة التي أنتم تتوقعونها. في هذه الرواية أو كما جاء في الحديث أيضا أن الله سبحانه وتعالى جائعا، فكيف يكون الله سبحانه وتعالى نفسه جائعا وفقيرا ودون ملابس؟ فهذا لا يعني أن الله سبحانه وتعالى يمر بهذه الصعوبات، وإنما عباد الله سبحانه وتعالى الفقراء الذين يعانون ويمرون بهذه الصعوبات عندما يذهبون إلى بعض الناس طالبين العون والطعام والألبسة، فيجب أن تقدم لهم الأشياء الحسنة. ففي هذه الحكاية كما ذكرنا أنها مبنية على الحديث ومليئة بالحكم وتعاليم أخرى تظهر أن الله سبحانه وتعالى يهتم بعباده اهتماما شديدا، وإذا جاع أحدا فكأن الله سبحانه وتعالى هو بنفسه جائع.
Now the word tuhibbun is explained in the light of this hadith, and the hakaya is made out of this hadith. The philosophy of spending is understood in different ways. Sometimes you spend not out of love, but out of compulsion. For instance, you have to give tax to the government. You spend, but not out of love, out of hatred. You see, you hate to give it to the government, you have to anyway. Sometimes you have to pay fines. You don't love to pay fines, but you have to. You spend with love only when you love somebody more than the thing you give. If I give somebody a present, there's no compulsion, no law, we should make me give. But if I give somebody out of love, this means my love for him is greater than my love for that something. So, despite the fact that I give, I gain something of pleasure, but in different terms. You can try it on anyone you love. If you offer him something with real love and he rejects it, you will not be happy. Alhamdulillah, I have saved my food, I have saved my clothes. You will return crying. You say, how I wished I could, and I am rejected. So this is the meaning, لَن تَنَالُوا الْبِرَّ حَتَّى تُنْفِقُوا مِمَّا تُحِبُّونَ. You can, if you love God, then out of love when you spend, then you always spend the best thing available to you, not the worst. And if it is without love, it is meaningless. The example of Hazrat Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's companions makes this verse manifestly clear. You know, there were people who, during a ghazwa, could not be included in the not the army, but the mujahideen who were accompanying Hazrat Rasulullah sallam, because the distance was too far away, the distance was too big, and the place where the battle was to take place was far away, and there were no mounts available, neither camels nor horses. Now they came with whatever they had, their lives. They came to offer their lives. They had nothing else. Now when lives were rejected, they went back crying. وَأَعْيُنُهُمْ تَفِيضُ مِنَ الدَّمِّ. They went back crying. How can you cry when your life is saved? Only love can bring about this revolution, this miracle. So whatever you spend in the cause of Allah, if it is out of love, this will give you goodness. This will create nobility in you. If you do it for anything else, it's meaningless to God. He wouldn't care. This is the meaning of لَن تَنَالُوا الْبِرَّ حَتَّى تُنْفِقُوا مِمَّا تُحِبُّونَ. Right?
لقد فاتني أن أذكر في الترجمة السابقة أن حضرة أمير المؤمنين ذكر أن لماذا الله سبحانه وتعالى لا يعرض ولا يقدم الملابس والأطعمة لهؤلاء الناس بنفسه إذا كان يهتم بهم. ولكن قال حضرة أمير المؤمنين إن الخطة الأساسية التي صممت للإنسان وللخليقة تتوقف عند ذلك، فإن الله سبحانه وتعالى جعل ذلك ليمتحن الناس في الراحة والمحن والتعب أيضا. فإذا أعان أحدا من أي شيء فإن الله سبحانه وتعالى لا يكون فرحا بهذا، وإنما هو ليمتحن بعض الناس. وكما جاء في القرآن الكريم ومما رزقناهم ينفقون، فإذا أنفق الناس عند رؤيتهم لبعض الإخوة الذين يعانون، فأين يبقى الجوع وأين يبقى الفقر؟ فسيختفي ذلك بشكل تلقائي. فعندما نعرف وندرس فلسفة الخلق نعرف كل هذه الأمور. وذكر حضرته أيضا أن في فلسفة الإنفاق من ناحية يمكن فهمها أن في بعض الناس ينفقون في سبيل شيء معين إجبارا وعنوة مثل الضرائب، فإن الناس يقومون بدفع الضرائب ليس حبا وإنما كراهية كما قال حضرته. وكذلك تجاه الحكومة أو غيرها من السلطات الموجودة في المنطقة. وقال حضرته أيضا إذا قدمت أنا هدية إلى شخص أحبه ولي حبا خاصا تجاه ذلك الشخص، فإنني أقدم له هدية والتي تعني أن حبي لذلك الشخص هي أكثر من حبي.
something which I love. If I give something to someone I love, I'll give him something which I love. So the person is loved, so the thing has to be loved. This is the meaning.
وقال حضرته إذا أنا أعطيت هدية لشخص أحبه فإنني أقدم له هدية أنا أحبها، وتعرض أيضا أن حبي لذلك الشخص هو أكثر من حبي لهذا الشيء أيضا. وقال حضرته أن يمكن أن نرى هذه الأشياء أو هذه التضحيات في حياة الصحابة رضوان الله عليهم عندما توجهوا كان المسلمون في تجهيز أنفسهم في الذهاب إلى غزوة معينة، ولكن لم تكن الخيل الكافي لأخذ هؤلاء الصحابة إلى ميدان القتال، وأن هؤلاء الناس قد ذهبوا إلى الرسول ذهبوا لتقديم أرواحهم وأنفسهم وحياتهم للدفاع عن الإسلام، ولكن هذه الأنفس وهذه التضحيات رفضت لأنها لم يكن من لم
There were
يكن
no camels or furus, etc., to carry them along with.
لم يكن كما قال حضرته، لم تكن هنالك الجمال والخيل لتأخذ هؤلاء الصحابة. وعندما رجعوا باكين إلى من حيث جاءوا، فهذا البكاء، فمن يبكي لشيء لإنقاذ حياته، فهذا يدل على أن حياتهم هي أرخص من حبهم إلى الله سبحانه وتعالى، وأنهم يقدمون حياتهم لله سبحانه وتعالى فقط. هذا هو الحب الحقيقي الذي يوصلكم إلى ذلك البر، وهذا هو المعنى الحقيقي لهذه الآية: لن تنالوا البر حتى تنفقوا مما تحبون.
So this covers all the other aspects of human life as well. You know, if you love Islam, you will spend your Islam for the sake of others. If you love the Quran, you will distribute the Quran. You will spread the meaning of the Quran to the whole world. If you love goodness, you will spend goodness. So this verse is not a limited verse. It covers every possible thing. And unless you do it with love, it's meaningless. There's another message in this. Some people spread their religions for the sake of gaining strength from others. Some spread their religions out of love of mankind. They love mankind and what they have, and they know it is good. So they have to share that goodness with others. So this is also the meaning of لَن تَنَالُوا الْبِرَّ حَتَّى تُنْفِقُوا مِمَّا تُحِبُّونَ. You see, there's so many possible meanings. I'll just permit me, you translate. I'll return in a while to demonstrate it in another way as well. Okay? I'm coming. You start with us. Assalamu alaikum. From, I don't know, from Syria or from Palestine or where. When we did, who brought it, you know? Somebody brought it for me.
This is not
Arabs like it,
This is
huh?
not Palestinian.
Looks like Syrian.
Like Syrian, but maybe it's Turkish. Because I liked it, I couldn't eat it. I said, unless I share it with my guests, I'll not be able to enjoy it. This is the meaning of Mimma Tuhibbun. It's Turkish? Could be.
Yeah. Or this or this.
Please. चूखी पहले डाल के देने को
Ada juga dah. Juga ya,
And this is the chufi I mentioned in Majlis Shura,
Yes.
the Spanish drink. अब सर्व करते हैं हम डालते हैं
امسكها بالعكس محمود، بالعكس اعكس ايديك.
Please be safe, please be safe.
جزاكم الله.
Don't be afraid. You'll finish. This.
جزاك.
Usually off. आप लेंगे आम का? No, Imam Sahib. Right? And what are the comments? You like it or not? Bad? It's a refined taste. Huh?
Very, very nice.
This is a Spanish drink. This is made out of seeds and nuts. There is no milk, nothing. The seeds are ground and the nuts, and it's a very enriching drink and very smooth. In the summer, it's very satiating, right? You like it. And you also like it. This is a guava juice. I hope you like this too. You like guavas?
The real thing.
Huh?
This is the real thing.
The real. That's right. Come on. You first drink and give them a warning if you don't like it. Right. No?
Fine.
Fine?
For me.
Flavor is very good. Abdul
جزاكم الله.
Please. Yes. Do you have guavas in your country? No?
No, in Egypt only.
Only Egypt. You need to have.
جوافة.
Now, इनको आप लेंगे क्योंकि याद ना don't mix them up. Remember whose glass that is. Whose is this one? Yours? Okay. You just have this is yours. Where's yours? Your glass. Imam Sahib. Also, where's your glass? And your glass? You no glass? Pieni, have another one. I saw Amir Sahib Germany there. Will you please invite him to come and join us? What's your comment? Fair comment. You like this taste or no?
Very nice.
Like it? Good. Amir Sahib, what are you doing there alone?
Discussing something.
And you are too late for Chufi, but not too late for guava.
Chufi, das ist das mit auf.
Ja.
Ja. Sagt man.
If anyone is coming from Spain to Germany, that will be good because I'd like them to bring some Chufi to Germany as well.
This is.
But this is guava. Try it. more?
هذه بركة منكم إن شاء الله.
No, but you have finished it, so you need it more, huh?
This one finishes
No?
Be careful.
If you like it, I know that.
Alhamdulillah. I say for other brothers.
Whatever is left from a bada will be sufficient for you.
This is the famous Amrut.
Amrud, that's right, yes. It's Amrud. Huh?
When I try to give my wife a home feeling, I
But it's
always-
not Namrud. Very little difference. Aleph and Noon. No? This is Amrud.
The fruit sellers moving through the street of Rabba, they call it always loud, yeah?
Yes, that's right.
Amrud,
Amrud,
Amrud.
that's right. I love this because I also have my own orchard of Amrud. Near Rabwa, we have an orchard. You know, we have divided the property left by Hazrat Khalifatul Masih Sani in his personal capacity, not as Khalifa al-Masih. And we all have our small shares. So I have got, luckily, the guava garden which he himself had planted. So that has fallen to my share. And they're very good guavas. And the flavor is like this, you have tasted. Right? So with that we take leave of you. Enough of Arabic Now we have to go to the fair. Right?
Yes.
It was a love meeting you all. I hope you will come again and again. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.